Hi, I'm Agile Bob, and welcome to another edition of Thursday Thoughts. Today my thoughts are on the topic of empowerment. Have you ever wondered why people don't feel empowered in companies? I talk to leaders all the time. They feel like they empower their people really well. And yet when I talk to those people, they don't feel empowered. What's up with that? Well, I think it turns out that it boils down to how we actually empower people. Imagine this scenario. Imagine you work for me. And one day you come to me and you say, Bob, we need to do either A or B. Which one should we do? And I decide that day of all days, I'm going to empower you. And I look you square in the eye and I say, hey, you got this. Go for it. How would you feel? Would you feel empowered? Would you feel like you were really set up for success? Would this really feel like empowerment to you? On the other hand, do I feel like I empowered you? I certainly do. I gave you the choice. Go for it. Unfortunately, that's the way a lot of empowerment happens. We don't empower people well. So I've come up with something I call the Empowerment Bill of Rights. And it works like this. Imagine that same scenario, but a little bit differently in how we handle it. You come to me and say, Bob, we need to do either A or B. Which should we do? And I look at you and this time I say, you're perfectly capable of doing this. I believe in you. You can choose between A and B. But I don't want to spend more than $10,000 and I don't want to have to hire new people to do it. And if it was me looking at it, I would go back to some decisions we made last year and see if we can learn from any of those. And before we do either one, let's talk about a quick and dirty experiment we can run so we can learn if we're going down the right path quickly and we can pivot if we need to. How would you feel in that scenario? Most people say they would feel a lot more comfortable. They got a little bit of advice, they understand some constraints, and it feels like we're on the same team. It's not that I'm just pushing it off to them. I call that the Empowerment Bill of Rights, and let me walk you through how it actually works. So let's go back to that scenario and replay it one step at a time. You came to me and said, we need to do either A or B. Which should we do? And I said, you have this. You're perfectly capable of doing that. So step one was, I built you up. So step one of any empowerment is to build the person up. Then I said, you can clearly choose between A and B. So step two of the Empowerment Bill of Rights, clearly frame the empowerment. Tell the person exactly what they're allowed to do. And many times it's going to be a choice that they can make or a problem that they can solve. Then I said, but I don't want to spend more than $10,000. I don't want to have to hire new people to do it. So step three is to give constraints. Then I said, if it were me looking at it, I would go back to some decisions we made last year and see if they could help us with this decision. So step four is to give some advice. But a couple of tips here. It has to be advice, not the answer. And secondly, it has to be something that you are okay if they don't follow your advice. They may know another way, a better way. And lastly, I said, before we do either one, let's talk about a quick and dirty experiment we can run so we can pivot quickly if we need to. This is really important because the real world is complex. It may not match what we analyzed and came up with as an answer. In that scenario, we can pivot quickly and do the right thing. This actually gives the person incredible safety. It also shows you don't have a hidden agenda. It's not you're going to test it and pick the one you want. It's going to be a legitimate test to do the right thing. I have found this Empowerment Bill of Rights really help people a lot, and the reason I call it a Bill of Rights is because you deserve these things. Imagine that first scenario. Bob, we need to do either A or B. What should we do? Oh, you got this. Just go for it. You could also ask, well, Bob, are you saying I can choose between A and B? Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. Hey, Bob, are there any constraints I need to know about? Well, now that you mention it, I don't want to have to hire new people or spend more than $10,000. Hey, Bob, do you have any advice for me? Well, I might go back to some things we looked at last year and see how those decisions worked out. Hey, Bob, before we do either one, could we talk about a quick and dirty experiment so we can pivot quickly if we need to? Wow, that sounds like a great idea. It could save us money in the long run. I really like it. I didn't give you any of those things, but you asked for them and got them. So if you're empowering people, empower them with the Empowerment Bill of Rights. If you're being empowered, ask for those things from the Empowerment Bill of Rights. It's a much stronger way to empower people. It's still just training wheels. There's a lot more you can do beyond this, but at least it's a starting point that gets us out of the, just go for it. Hope this helps you and your teams. And until next time, this is Agile Bob signing off.